SeaWorld Christmas. This past year was my second time visiting SeaWorld San Antonio on Christmas Day. Being able to experience the roller coasters, Christmas shows, and the Christmas lights all on this magical holiday is special. But what can one expect when visiting on Christmas Day? Find out in this review. SeaWorld parks are routinely open on Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. In contrast to many other amusement parks, like Six Flags, that normally close on these days, to give their employees those days off. However, with my work schedule being busy most days, I greatly enjoy the option to visit SeaWorld on one of these holidays when I can't work. And although family obligations will likely come up on some holidays, is something I will consider in my planning going forwards. Staffing doesn't seem to be a huge issue at SeaWorld on Christmas, as most places seem to be fully staffed, which honestly is a bit disappointing, as I could understand going to a more skeleton crew for a day like this. But the park will be busy, and they do plan accordingly. The roller coasters, though, do tend to be on one-train operations, as that has been my experience both Christmas days that I visited. But that's also fairly normal for this park as a whole, and really only presents a problem for Wavebreaker, the rescue coaster. Normally, this park has very manageable lines and crowds, even on its busiest days, as most guests go for the shows and animals. I was able to get 2 rides on every coaster, for instance, when we arrived in the afternoon over spring break, so coasters can, at the right times, be complete walk-ons. However, I did end up waiting an hour plus for Wavebreaker on my first Christmas visit in 2021, as well as an hour for Texas Stingray. Though Texas Stingray was a walk-on shortly after the Sesame Street Christmas Parade on my 2024 visit. In 2024, Quick Queue appeared to be down as well. Platinum rewards could only be redeemed from a long line of guest services, which I just didn't have the patience to wait in. But that might have simply been due to a change in the ticketing kiosks. If coasters are a priority, I would consider Quick Queue when visiting on Christmas, or any of the days between Christmas and New Year's, as Quick Queue should put you directly in the station for every single coaster. Alternatively, run to the Steel Eel at Rope Drop. I got 2 laps and still got to Wavebreaker while it was a walk-on for an extra lap on that. I historically have loved the Steel Eel as my favorite coaster, so I prioritize it for that reason. But Wavebreaker will likely have the longest line in the park when it is running one train due to its appeal to families. Continuing on, to get quick laps on the Great White and Texas Stingray should let you get all of the coasters fairly quickly. Normally, Journey to Atlantis is closed for the winter season. I did not actually have time to check on this on my 2024 visit, but it appeared they were trying to run it along with Catapult Falls if the temperatures were high enough, though this might have just been because of the construction in the former Bay of Play. I try not to eat at amusement parks as it can get expensive, but SeaWorld parks as a whole are really good at getting you to work up an appetite and get hungry so that you'll want to buy something to eat. Given the park's hours of 1 to 9 p.m., you're likely going to need to get some dinner, but lines for food will be long, closer to the 30-minute mark at most locations from my experience. The ice cream shop on the way to the Dolphins was fairly empty, so a clutch place to get free water or snack if you need one. The boba and funnel cake shop along the Shamu Parade route also had no line when I passed by. I'm not an expert on all of the food options at SeaWorld San Antonio, but some planning ahead might be necessary to avoid a long line for food. We ended up getting some of the Asian food at the Harbor Market, which was okay, but it is more on the expensive side, though one of the visiting football coaches for the Alamo Bowl comped our meals for us, so that was an amazing Christmas present. In the past, SeaWorld has had a nice lineup of Christmas shows to complement their Christmas celebration. Normally, these were simple overlays of Christmas music or ideas into their shows, such as with the beluga whales. Clyde and Seymour would normally have a scripted Christmas adventure as well, but that seems to be scaled back as the sea lion shows are focusing more on conservation instead of humor, which is very unfortunate. The Mime does get a Christmas overlay with Christmas songs, so arrive early if you actually want to see a Christmas show. In the past, they've also used the small Sea Star Theater for a special Christmas show. Most recently, Coastal Christmas, Tidings of Joy. Given the intimate nature of this theater, it was awesome seeing actors sing various Christmas songs on that stage, and I really hope it returns in future years. Currently, they didn't want to change out Imagine-Ocean, which is understandable, though if Imagine-Ocean is going to be a staple at this park, then I feel we could get a cute Christmas version of it. Orca Encounter never had a Christmas overlay, which is fine, as that is the staple of SeaWorld, and those only visiting once need to see it undisturbed. No real Christmas shows in the 4 main theaters, they do have a few other options around the park. The largest is O Wondrous Night in the amphitheater, which gives this show a large capacity. It is a mix of a traditional nativity story along with puppet animals and real animals at the end, creating a nice mix of classic Christmas songs and family entertainment. The show is also long, running over 30 minutes, so it packs in everything Christmassy that it can into one single show, while being similar though contrasting with the majesty of Christmas at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Around the park, there are a few other smaller shows. Rudolph's Brass Band has a really neat little stage that is now set up outside the Penguin exhibit. This area looked really nice, and the band was also enjoyable, as I was really missing out on those Christmas tunes by the time I got back to see it. The Mariachi Band is located on a small stage towards the Beluga Stadium. This section is meant to be more representative of Hispanic culture during the Christmas event, which is why the performers are in this kind of out-of-the-way area. This show was also really enjoyable and really worth watching, as most of the songs were catchy and fun to hear. There are also toy soldiers marching, and there is a Christmas overlay to the Sesame Street Parade for those that are interested. Various other smaller shows have existed in the past, but SeaWorld seems to be focusing more on smaller, strong musical shows, which seems to be a good way to go, at least for these types of shows. This here is the schedule that I used so that I could see all of the shows in my visit with my family, doing a few times throughout the day to get food or ride on rides. We ended up going to the later Sea Lion show, as we did end up getting a free shark tour while visiting the sharks at Discovery Point. Christmas time also offers a large number of lights around the park. These are mostly decorated around various trees, so not the most impressive, at least for me, but a strong light experience, especially for those who want to see lights like this. I also don't always trek over to the Dolphins and Sharks while visiting SeaWorld San Antonio, as it is located outside of the main park, but there's just something extra special about seeing the animals while with one's family on Christmas Day, so I would make a plan to go visit during your stay. With the lines for the roller coasters, I'd prioritize rope dropping those first, and then heading over to the Dolphins midday. Many people will visit these animals before entering the park, which is fine if you're not worried about lines. But if you head over around, say 3 p.m., this area should be pretty empty. Just note that it does close before sunset. Overall, how good is SeaWorld San Antonio for Christmas? The Christmas celebration is nice, with a solid mix of shows and entertainment for families, while still highlighting the animals that SeaWorld is known for. There is something, at least to me, extra special about visiting on Christmas Day itself. With the lack of changing up the regular shows for Christmas versions, though, it is not exactly as Christmassy as it could be, and the lines on the rides this time of year might make one want to visit earlier in December if you just want to avoid those lines. When I visited on Thursdays in December, there was literally no one riding the roller coasters, which was sad for me because I was trying to take off-ride video at the time, but would be great if you're actually prioritizing riding the coasters. What part of SeaWorld's Christmas celebration do you like best? Do you feel it's worth it to visit on Christmas Day itself? Let me know. And as always, Kapkunkrap.